Check that side mirror and tell me if everybody's dancing.
Most of a chicken.
Yeah, it's a long walk over here.
I had become Muslim in 1977, which didn't help with my Jewish producers or my Christian but then that downside, then the devil comes, right? And every thought, every evil thought, everything that bothered you, every childhood memory, everything everyone said to you.
Ernest Thomas has finally revealed what's happening. Darkest secrets he's been keeping all this time. Fans of the actor, best known for his role as Raj in the show, are now learning shocking details of what happened behind the scenes that nobody knew about.
Yeah, major depression, more drugs, because Coke, I haven't introduced to Coke at that time, and Remy Martin. So those were the go-to, and of course weed, all of it,
Well, and crack.
Yeah, which came in the 80s, though. Yeah.
The questions everyone is asking as more comes to light is, why did he stay silent for so long? Could this change how people see him forever? Let's dive into the secrets Ernest Thomas has finally decided to share.
This whole story could make a great little movie.
Yeah, and I'd like to read it too.
Ernest Thomas is a famous actor known for his role as Roger Raj Thomas on the 1970s sitcom What's Happening. The show was about a group of teenagers living in Los Angeles, and Roger Raj was the smart and funny one. This role made him a household name, and his talent brought joy to many fans. Interestingly, Thomas got the chance to audition for What's Happening while he was working as a guest actor on another hit show, The Jeffersons. He met Mary White, the agent of actress Isabel Sanford, who played Louise Jefferson. White saw Thomas's talent and told him about a new show that she thought he'd be perfect for. That show was Cooley High, which later became What's Happening. Thomas told his own agent about it, and while there was some initial tension, he got an audition. Thomas faced a lot of competition for the role of Raj. He later shared that over 200 actors auditioned for the part. He also revealed that some of his friends were upset when he landed the role because they wanted it too. But he stayed focused and believed that getting the role was part of a higher plan, thanks to his faith and prayers.
So this show comes out and it gets great ratings.
Yeah.
So now you have a hit TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you considered the star of the show or the co-star or?
They said that. I would never say that. Shirley would say that. Other people said that. I always.
When Thomas got the role of Raj, he was only 26 years old. Playing a teenager at that age was not easy, but he did it so well that audiences fell in love with his character. The show became an instant hit, and it ran for 3 years. During that time, Ernest Thomas enjoyed the spotlight. The success brought him not just fame, but also money, which allowed him to live a luxurious lifestyle for a while. He enjoyed the perks of fame. He was invited to big parties, met other famous people, and had a lot of money. Life seemed great at that time.
Okay, so here you are. You got a hit show, you got a house in Malibu, you're partying, celebrities are coming over. And then in 1979, the show gets canceled.
However, when the show was canceled in 1979, things became tough for him. Suddenly, the fame and money started to fade away. Like many actors, Thomas found it hard to get more work after the show ended. Seemingly thrust into the challenges of managing the weight that accompanies a life of fame and affluence at a relatively young age, Thomas found himself grappling with the aftermath of What's Happening going off the air. His journey took a downturn, influenced by a series of questionable life choices.
Right.
And now you're canceled.
Yeah.
And you went into a depression over that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The abrupt cancellation of the show came as an unexpected blow for Thomas, who revealed that he learned about it not through official channels, but from a newsstand vendor. This moment of sudden realization had a profound impact on him, shaping the trajectory of his life in the years that followed. He said, "All that was required was deciding to trust in God and establishing a personal relationship with Him." Thomas openly acknowledged experiencing a period of depression following the disheartening revelation about the show's cancellation, which unfortunately led him into the grips of substance abuse. He grappled with addiction to illicit substances such as C, crack, and M. Reflecting on the experience of substance abuse, Thomas admitted that, initially, It induced a powerful and euphoric feeling of ecstasy. However, he also acknowledged the dark side that followed, where the aftermath of the high brought about a descent into negativity. The allure of the substances led to encounters with sinister thoughts, leaving one with a pervasive sense of inadequacy and negativity. Initially, the star attempted to impose limits on his use. However, over the years, the situation took a devastating turn, prompting him to recognize the urgent need to break free from the grip of addiction. The turning point for Thomas arrived when he faced eviction from his home, having depleted all his financial resources and unable to meet rent obligations. Following this upheaval, the icon sought refuge by moving in with his sister, who, despite his financial struggles, welcomed him with open arms. This marked a crucial juncture in his life, propelling him towards the realization that a change was imperative. These challenges made him realize that he needed to find a way to turn his life around. Thomas's life took a major turn when he decided to fight against his addiction. He wanted to change his life and knew that reconnecting with his Muslim faith could be the key to making that happen. Thomas, filled with determination, began to pray and ask God for help to beat his struggles. One of the most important moments in his recovery happened when his cousin introduced him to a Muslim friend.
I had become Muslim in 1977, which didn't help with my Jewish producers or my Christian castmates.
This person talked openly with Thomas about life, faith, and how to stay strong. Their conversations made a huge impact on Thomas and motivated him to change his life for the better. He felt encouraged to stay clean and begin a sober life. There have been some people who said that Thomas changed his religion because of the problems that came with being on TV. But Thomas does not believe that. He knows that his faith has always been a strong part of his life, and it helped him through difficult times. After going through many challenges and tough moments in his life, Thomas now spends his time sharing the message that God loves everyone equally. He wants people to know that God is always ready to help them and that anyone can experience a miracle in their life if they have faith. His experience was so powerful that it inspired him to write a book titled From Raj to Riches: Overcoming Life Through Faith. In this book, he shares his story of overcoming addiction and hardship, hoping to inspire others to do the same. The TV show may not have been the biggest hit in ratings, but its impact on race and television history is unforgettable. This year, the show celebrates its over 45th anniversary since it first aired in 1976. It was a groundbreaking show, especially when it came to how Black people were portrayed on TV. Ernest Thomas, who played the lead character, Roger Thomas, talked about how the show changed things for the better. Ernest said in an interview with Today, "It was definitely a positive thing because there were not a lot of Black people on TV back then. Even though shows like Good Times, The Jeffersons, and Sanford and Son were already on the air, Thomas pointed out that those shows didn't focus on Black teenagers. What's Happening was different because it showed the everyday lives of 3 Black teens, and this was something new. According to Thomas, people of all races, not just Black viewers, could connect with the friendships on the show. But the show did more than just entertain. It also helped with race relations, even with people who had racist attitudes. Thomas explained that over the years, he met many white people who told him they had grown up in racist homes, but ended up watching What's Happening by accident. Once they started watching, they couldn't help but laugh and enjoy the show. It chipped away the racism, Thomas said. He believes the show made people see Black characters in a different, more positive light. The series wasn't a huge rating success, but the chemistry among the cast members was strong. Thomas thinks that the show paved the way for other Black-led comedies that came out in the 1980s, like The Cosby Show and 227. "Oh, absolutely, absolutely," he said confidently. Thomas believed the show had more life in it and could have continued for a longer time, but those behind-the-scenes issues cut it short. One of these problems on set was when Fred Berry and Ernest Thomas walked out of the show to demand higher pay. "After I had left the show," Alan Rafkin noted in his book, "there was a big contract dispute, and I was told that Fred was the instigator behind the trouble that followed. He convinced Ernest and Haywood to join him in a strike for more money. Eventually, the producers simply had enough of the boys' antics and they closed the series down. But Thomas notes that there's a mystery over that. I remember distinctly that they had a meeting and wanted the entire cast to meet with all of the producers. And they said, Fred Berry tells us that you think we're racist. So we don't want you working for racists, and we're going to cancel the show. That's what I remember. Fred was very happy, even at that meeting. He didn't take it back and say, no, they really didn't say it. I was the one who said it. He said, no, you all said it. So they thought he really was telling the truth. Fred did apologize for all of that stuff toward the end of his life, says Thomas. Even when he passed away, people didn't want me to go to the funeral. There are people who are still upset with me for going to his funeral. But to me, there's a thing called forgiveness. When someone asks you for forgiveness, there's no reason to keep something going. I went to the funeral because he expressed that he was sorry.
Let's see how easy it goes in.
Not only Ernest Thomas faced the challenges because of the show, even his on-set sister Dee Thomas, played by Danielle Spencer, faced tragic moments. One of the most tragic moments in Dee's life happened when she was just 11 years old. In 1977, Dee was on her way to the set of the TV show What's Happening when she was involved in a serious car accident with her stepfather, Tim Pelt. Sadly, Tim lost his life in the accident, and Dee was badly injured. She broke her arm, leg, pelvis, and also suffered injuries to her face. The accident left her in a coma for 3 long weeks. Dee's recovery was not easy. She faced both physical pain and emotional scars from the accident. Her injuries were severe, but Dee was strong. After 3 weeks, she woke up from the coma, and with time, she began to heal. It took a lot of determination for her to recover. Miraculously, Dee got better and was able to return to What's Happening for the next season. Even though she was back, she still had some visible scars on her face from the accident. To hide those scars, she wore a special hairstyle. This helped her continue playing her role on the show without people noticing her injuries. Dee's ability to recover and return to work showed just how strong and resilient she was. She didn't let the accident stop her from moving forward. However, just 2 years later, in 1979, What's Happening was suddenly canceled. The timing of the show's end so soon after her terrible accident seemed unusual. It's natural to wonder if there's more to the story. Could there be a deeper reason why the show was canceled? Did the accident have something to do with it? Some people have raised questions about the possibility that the producers of the show may have had secrets or reasons they didn't want to reveal. Could there have been a connection between Dee's accident and the end of the show? It's hard to say for sure, but the close timing of both events certainly leaves room for speculation. Years after a childhood accident, Dee faced new problems. In 2003, she started feeling numbness in her feet and legs. Doctors found out it was related to that old accident. Dee needed spinal surgery to fix the issue. After the surgery, she had to go through a long and tough recovery. She spent 8 months in a wheelchair and worked hard in physical therapy to walk again. It wasn't easy, but Dee stayed strong and determined. In 2014, life hit her again with a breast cancer diagnosis. After talking to her doctors, Dee decided to have a double mastectomy. This was a very tough time for her, both physically and emotionally. She felt helpless at times and struggled with depression. But with the love and support of her family and friends, Dee was able to push through those hard feelings. In 2018, Dee had to have emergency brain surgery, another problem caused by her childhood accident. It was another huge test of her strength. Even though it was a scary and difficult experience, Dee faced it with the same determination she had shown before.
Nothing wrong with a little turkey or chicken especially, but anything that has a lot of fat in it, you want to avoid. Any of your dishes that have like onions and garlic, you don't want to give those. But yeah, why not give them a little bit of turkey?
Despite all of these challenges, Dee managed to have a great career as a veterinarian. She graduated from Tuskegee University and worked in Los Angeles for over 22 years. Her ability to keep going, even when life threw tough problems at her, shows how strong and determined she is. But Dee wasn't the only actor in What's Happening whose life was affected by the show. Sadly, her on-screen mom, Mabel King, was not exempted.
And you know something else? I don't know why I can't stay mad at you.
Because I'm really a wonderful person.
Mabel King played the mom in the TV show What's Happening. She was loved for her role, But behind the scenes, her life was hard. When the show went into its second season, Mabel had problems with the people who made the show. One big issue was her weight. The producers wanted her to stay big, even though she wanted to lose weight. This was tough for her health. After leaving the show, Mabel's health got worse. She found out she had diabetes, which caused serious problems. Over time, doctors had to amputate her toes, legs, and even one of her arms by 1986. In 1989, she had a stroke that left her unable to talk for almost a year. Her size made it harder for her to recover from these problems, and she had to go through many surgeries. Even though she had many challenges, Mabel had friends who cared for her. They gave her a special wheelchair to make her more comfortable. She moved to a new place in Woodland Hills, but had to go to the hospital for dialysis. Sadly, Mabel King passed away on November 9, 1999, at the age of 66, because of kidney failure.
Change? She gave me $3, the bill was $2.95, and you want change?
Shirley Hemphill is best known for playing Shirley Wilson on the popular TV show, What's Happening? She was a comedian who made people laugh, but her life wasn't always filled with joy. Shirley grew up inspired by Moms Mabley, a famous comedian from her hometown. Shirley also admired another comedian, Flip Wilson, who had a big influence on her. She practiced her jokes all the time, making her family and friends laugh. One day, her friends dared her to record a tape of her comedy routine and send it to Flip Wilson. She didn't expect anything, but to her surprise, Flip loved her work. He sent her a new tape recorder, some roses, and even invited her to one of his shows. This was a huge moment in her life, and it helped push her to keep going in her comedy career. Later in life, Shirley's health started to decline. She gained weight, which made it hard for her to move around, and she developed serious health problems, including diabetes, kidney disease, and heart issues. Even though she needed a walker, she didn't want people to see her using it in public. When she appeared on the Jenny Jones Show for a sitcom stars reunion, her legs were shaky, and she had to hold on to walls for support. But Shirley, being the performer she always was, danced for the audience to make them laugh, even though it hurt her. Sadly, on December 10, 1999, Shirley was found dead in her home at the age of 52. She lived alone and didn't share her health problems with her friends or family. Her gardener found her body after she had been dead for a few days. The autopsy showed that she had died from kidney failure, and her body was later cremated.
What is it?
A sweet potato pie, and most of it chicken.
Fred Berry is best known for playing the fun and dancing character Rerun on the popular TV show What's Happening, which aired from 1976 to 1979. He wore his signature beret and suspenders, always bringing laughter to the audience. Fred Berry will forever be remembered as Rerun, a character that became so popular that people had trouble seeing him as anyone else. Even though Fred loved playing Rerun and it brought him fame, being stuck with that role for the rest of his life came with problems. By the age of 29, Fred Berry became a millionaire, earning a lot of money from his role on What's Happening. But with this fame and money came stress, and Berry began to struggle with drug and alcohol addiction. His addiction lasted for 10 years, and he even tried to take his own life 3 times. But in 1985, Fred found sobriety and turned his life around. He became a Christian minister and used his experience to help others. He would speak to young people, telling them not to make the same mistakes he did. Even though Fred Berry had made a lot of money from his acting, life got tough after What's Happening ended in 1979. He was typecast, which means people could only see him as Rerun and didn't want to hire him for other roles. It was hard for Fred to move past the character that made him famous. He spent large amounts of money on drugs and gambling and ended up losing much of his wealth. Fred also had personal struggles. He was married 6 times to 4 different women, which shows how complicated his relationships were. He admitted that the Hollywood lifestyle went to his head, and he lost control of his life for a while. Fred Berry also had dreams of making a What's Happening movie, and his ex-manager wrote a script for it. Fred was trying to get the movie made and was working on an autobiography called Tears of a Clown, the Rerun Berry story. But before he could complete these projects, Fred suffered a stroke, which took away his ability to walk properly. For a man known for his dancing, Losing his mobility was especially difficult.
Hey girls, gather round. Listen to what I'm putting down.
And finally, Haywood Nelson is best known for playing Dwayne Nelson on the show What's Happening in the late 1970s. He became famous for his cheerful character and his trademark phrase, "Hey, hey, hey!" Fans loved him for his friendly and fun personality. But after the show ended, many people wonder what happened to him. After What's Happening ended, Haywood appeared in its sequel, What's Happening Now, which aired in the 1980s. He kept acting, but his fame from TV started to fade. He didn't land many big roles after that. Even though he didn't stay in the spotlight like other stars, he still made appearances here and there. These days, Haywood is known for working behind the scenes. He became more focused on the technical side of the entertainment industry. He's been involved in TV production and business, showing that he's skilled in other areas besides acting. Haywood Nelson is also someone who likes his privacy. He hasn't been in the news much, and he tries to keep his personal life out of the public eye, though there have been news about him having several issues with women because he has been married 3 times. While many fans still remember him fondly for his role as Dwayne, Haywood seems happy living a quieter life, away from the Hollywood spotlight. Looking back, What's Happening may not have been a ratings giant, but it broke barriers for Black actors and viewers. It also made people laugh while helping to change how some people saw race. The show's legacy is still alive today, especially as it reaches its over 45th anniversary, reminding us all of how TV can make a difference in how we see each other.